All right, hello and welcome back to the return of the most must-see pro football podcast on the internet. Welcome to Third and Long. I'm your host Mason Rooney, and as per usual, I am joined by my co-host Cody Starin. Say hello, Cody.
Hello.
All right, before we get started, be sure to follow us on our socials, right down there, as well as our personal socials up here. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and anywhere you can get your podcast from. All right, for today's show, this is totally not our second time doing this. We are going to be doing a mock draft with us alternating picks. You know, typical standard mock draft stuff. Uh, yeah, you have anything to add to that, Cody, before we get started?
No.
All right. So I will be starting out this mock draft with the first overall pick. We will be taking turns. Me and Cody have come to the agreement that when it comes to our personal teams, that we will be making their selections at that pick. So let's get started. This will be a trades included mock draft. Uh, so Cody, feel free to go wild with trades, should you so choose
Oh,
to.
oh yeah.
All right, with the first overall pick, Carolina Panthers traded the farm to get this pick. Uh, and with it, they're going to take Bryce Young. Initially, I had C.J. Stroud going here, but with Bryce Young canceling all his pre-draft visits now, it seems more so, or it seems more likely that Bryce Young is going to be the next potential franchise QB for the Panthers, and makes sense. I think he's the best QB prospect in the draft. Some might argue Stroud, but I think consensus is Bryce Young is him, and he's going to go where, I mean, there's decent weapons out there in Carolina, so he's not going to be struggling. He shouldn't be struggling incredibly hard, I should say. But yeah, Bryce Young first overall.
That one's pretty. I think that one's pretty easy at this point.
Yep.
The number two. This is a very interesting pick within the last few days. I'm hearing a lot of they could trade back. I don't think they will. I'm hearing a lot of Anthony Richardson. I don't think they will. I think it's all just smoke and mirrors or whatever they call it.
Although I
I
would
think
not
this
be
number two.
surprised if they go not QB though. I'd be I would not be surprised honestly. It's a very Texans thing to do.
That's what I was just about to get to. Is I don't think they're going to draft any quarterback in this draft. I think, you know, they may just go defense if they end up at the number one pick next year. So be it. They get Caleb Williams. D'Amico Ryans has already been pretty much slated in for at least 3 years, I think. And so I think this pick is going to be Will Anderson.
You know, although I don't personally agree with the pick, I think they should go out and get their QB. But if they see Bryce Young as the only QB worth drafting, I mean, I guess take the best player you have on your draft board, and if that's Will Anderson, you take him.
And I mean, if you're D'Amico Ryans, worst case scenario, you end up with a top two pick next year, and both Caleb Williams and Drake May are the truth. I mean, they're going to be
Yeah.
NFL caliber quarterbacks
Yeah.
next year.
Who was the Washington kid? Isn't he?
Washington?
I think it's Washington. Is it Penix? Is that right, or did he already come out?
Oh yeah, yeah. But he's. I mean, they're Caleb Williams and Drake May here, about 20 feet of just shit, and then there's Penix.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah,
There, I mean, those top two guys are on a whole other level than anybody else right now.
yeah. So I mean, I personally hope that this doesn't happen. I would love Seattle to or Will Anderson to fall, but with Bryce Young seeming like he's going to be first overall, it also seems like Will Anderson's going to be second. So, the Arizona Cardinals now with pretty much the entire QB class still here, they sit in a very interesting position. Uh, I think a team is definitely going to be trying to their hardest to trade up to 3. So with that being said, I think they are going to be trading. Now it's a matter of which team, because there's been rumors that Colts could move up one spot to take their QB. There's been plenty of talks of Tennessee trying to trade up. I could see Vegas, maybe even Atlanta trading up. And and those are really the only few teams that I could see trading up for this 3rd overall pick. Unless I'm forgetting someone, Cody. But I think those are.
I think you got them all.
Yeah. But I think the team that would give Arizona the most value would be Tennessee. I have no idea how this works. Trades with Arizona. So they would probably have to give up. Arizona gives up the 3rd. Imagine Tennessee gives up their 2 firsts. And what else do you think they would have to give up?
No, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just know that this would be some kind of trade package that includes 3 and 11.
That's fair. God damn. All right, let's try this one more time.
Anything outside of that, we're just completely guessing.
Since this is only a first round mock draft, I'm just gonna give them a ton of stuff.
There you go. Give them the farm.
I'm gonna give them the entire draft, just so they accept it. All right.
And get him Derrick Henry too.
I could have, but Tennessee is gonna be trading up for this 3rd overall pick, and here they will take CJ Stroud.
Okay.
I was debating Richardson for a second. I thought about it like, is Richardson here? But no, I think CJ Stroud goes 3rd overall to whatever team trades up. I have Tennessee.
They got lucky last year. They didn't have to draft Malik Willis in the 1st round.
Yeah.
If you just move on from him when he's a 3rd round pick.
It doesn't hurt as much moving off a 3rd round pick than a 1st round.
Nope.
Unless you're the Cardinals, of course, then you have 1 year to prove yourself.
Well, Josh Rosen was just atrocious.
I thought he was. I think he could have been an average QB, above average potentially.
He was put in a really bad situation though, but he was just atrocious from the situation he was thrown into.
Yeah. Anyway, Indianapolis Colts, number 4.
Colts picking here, no doubt. They're picking here. They didn't do anything in free agency really outside of signing Gardner Minshew. So I think they're going to try to load up heavy in the draft, and here they're going to take Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson to the Colts.
He's the most NFL ready quarterback. They need someone that can play now.
Did you really just say Anthony Richardson is NFL ready?
Well, I shouldn't say NFL ready. He only played 13 games in college, so he needs to play. So he's the most start now quarterback, I guess. He needs the reps more than anybody else.
I guess, but in terms of like experience or like playing experience, they would probably take Levis but
the upside on Anthony Richardson still. So.
No, I agree. The upside on Richardson is significantly higher than Levis, but if they need someone that's plug and play right this second with what's available, I think they would take Levis if they're looking for a player that could play right now. You know.
I can see it go either way.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Levis is more of a Colts QB than Richardson is. He just feels more Coltsy.
I don't know. I just think that Anthony Richardson opens up so much more for the Colts.
Oh, no. I'm not disagreeing that. I'm just saying I feel like the Colts like Levis more than Richardson.
Having a secondary weapon in the backfield other than Jonathan Taylor,
yeah,
I feel like we'll open up Jonathan Taylor for a lot more. Probably.
Seattle at number 5 via Denver. Thanks, Denver. Let's ride. If Anthony Richardson had fallen here, I think this is where Seattle would consider taking him. But I think the biggest glaring need, if you look at Seattle, is defensive line, more specifically defensive tackle. And I know that this guy has had his like off the field issues with the whole combine thing, the whole pro day stuff of him coming in overweight and not being able to finish. But I think the upside is there. He has a potential to be the best player of this draft, and Seattle's not going to have this opportunity probably again anytime soon. So I'm going to have Seattle take Jalen Carter at 5. Just feel it's a need for them, and I think he's the best player in the draft, non QB.
I mean, yeah, plays the football game really well. And if there's anybody that can deal with character issues, it's going to be Pete Carroll. He seems to be very, I guess, player friendly. You know, you can get through to players pretty well.
He's a very pro player type of coach.
I think he's the only coach I've seen take his shirt off.
Yeah, I mean DK walked in the room and you have to match his physique with your own.
I mean, Pete Carroll had to assert his dominance, make sure that DK knew that, you know what, maybe stacked, but I am too.
Fair. So
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And now number 6, Detroit Lions.
See, this is where the Lions are. I mean, they're perfect trade back material, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just pulling up the draft board right now.
It's on the screen right here. I like the next few.
Yeah. I just want to see who's late, though. This is tough. Because the perfect trade back material, if they don't love if they don't have a cornerback on this board that they love, I think if they're drafting anything, they're drafting cornerback. They have Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown at wide receiver, and there's no receiver that really justifies the number 6 pick. But I also don't know necessarily who would trade back for 6, since the top 3 quarterbacks are off the board. They have Aiden Hutchinson. So I think this pick essentially comes down to Christian Gonzalez or Tyree Wilson. And since they went Aiden Hutchinson last year, I think, especially after the Jeffrey Okudah trade, they go Christian Gonzalez. I just think he's the best corner of the draft. Fits what the Lions need more than anything. You could go Witherspoon here; they're kind of interchangeable, but I think Christian Gonzalez goes to the Lions.
Yeah, I think it's kind of clear now, especially since they traded Okudah. I can't think of any other corners on the team. But then getting a young corner, getting their pick of the cornerback class. I think it's kind of obvious they do go corner. It's just a matter of if they like Witherspoon or Gonzalez more, really. While you have Gonzalez as number 1 corner, I have Witherspoon. So, but it's interchangeable.
If any of the top 3 quarterbacks fall to 6, the Lions will trade back in a heartbeat.
Well, what teams would trade up? Because I think Raiders could get away with staying there.
We don't know what the Commanders' new ownership's like, I guess, right?
I think they want to give Sam Howell a try with Bieniemy there now.
Yeah, I guess, but also, if you see one of these 3 guys, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, or Anthony Richardson, are you gonna?
Oh yeah, if those 3 guys are there, yeah, but
I don't. I'm saying they're not. One of those 3 guys fall to 6, someone's trading.
Oh yeah. I thought we were talking about including Levis in there.
Oh no. I don't think Levis is nearly as sought after as some of these other guys.
That's fair. Speaking of Levis, I have him going 7 to the Raiders. I know we totally did not talk about this last time we did this. But Jimmy G is obviously a transition guy or bridge QB. He's just someone to. Uh, I, I'm like 90% sure the only reason he went to Vegas was because McDaniels was there and he's familiar with the system that McDaniels runs. So I think
Kind of a
bringing in a rookie QB to kind of learn under Jimmy and kind of learn the system with two people that know it very well, I think that would do Levis good. Uh, I know he might not be, probably definitely not the top QB prospect by a long shot, but I think he has the potential to be a good QB, and they don't exactly have an answer for the future on that team roster right now. So
Did Jimmy G sign a 1 year deal or a 3 year deal? I forget.
it might have been a 3 year deal, but you know how NFL deals are now, where like there's like easy outs after like a year or two, or they could just like,
Oh, the
I'll check real quick, unless you're doing it. But contracts. Yeah, he signed a 3 year deal with the Raiders.
with the potential out after the first year.
Probably.
That's what Spotrac says.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, so I think Jimmy G's just here on I don't want to say borrowed time, but I think he's going to be here for 1 year while Will Levis is groomed. Will Levis will learn from one of the best game managers in the NFL, in my opinion. Jimmy G's probably going to try to have another very solid season so he can go sign another 1 year, $20 million deal next year somewhere else.
With the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. After Aaron Rodgers retires.
Yeah.
So
Number 8, Atlanta Falcons.
now, last time here, first time I recorded this, I went with Bijan Robinson.
There was no last time, remember?
Yeah, you're right. I've since come to my senses, and they're just going to take best player available because they need so many positions of need. And I think they're just going to take Tyree Wilson. I
think
just think it's the guy's a stud. He's fast. He's quick. He needed to develop the football skills a little more, but he's by far the highest potential player. And yeah, I just think they have so many positions of need that they just take BPA.
Yeah, Tyree Wilson falling to 8 would probably be best case scenario for Atlanta. Because, like you
I
said,
don't think they.
they need so many position and needs right now, and just getting someone that could be on your front seven for years to come is would be very ideal for them at 8.
And I mean, they did just sign that defensive tackle Anyamata.
Hmm.
Is that right?
That sounds
They
right.
gave him a Yeah, they gave him a solid deal, and I don't think they have. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any edge rusher they got, and so he would instantly step in and be probably their best edge rusher.
Probably. Number 9, the Chicago Bears traded back to this spot with Carolina after getting 2 first, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. Now I'm pretty sure they got some good offensive line pieces last year, right? They got or not maybe not good, but like rookies that kind of like showed that they could potentially be there for a bit. I don't know if they got a tackle though. Trying to
I
think.
think the word I would, I think the word I would use for the Bears' offensive line is serviceable.
Yeah, and now that they have a weapon for Justin Fields, they don't have to worry about receiver at least right now. So I think they take best offensive tackle available and go Paris Johnson right here.
Yeah, that's easy. I'm looking at their offensive line; they don't have a left tackle
Yeah, so you take the best tackle
unless you're gonna.
available.
Unless you're gonna rely on Braxton Jones.
Yeah, which I don't think they want to now.
No. Let's see, 10 Eagles. This is also see, this could go so many different ways just because the Eagles cornerback, but they just re-signed Slay. Well, they did get rid of Bradbury. Yeah, let's do that. They're gonna go with. I'm not gonna go anything on the defensive line because that defensive Eagles in the trenches, both sides of the ball, phenomenal. I guess you could go Bijan Robinson here. You could justify that with a bigger position of need for the Eagles. I think they go Bijan Robinson. As Mason's having technical
Hello,
difficulties.
hello. Sorry, my mic just stopped working. I was trying to tell you that Bradbury's still there.
He is still there?
Yeah. But
okay, yeah.
that doesn't really affect your pick since you have them going Bijan Robinson, right?
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, no, it makes the pick 10 times easier. Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought they got rid of Bradbury.
No, they re-signed Bradbury. I think they were going to cut Slay, but they ended up reaching some like agreement on a new contract.
Yep, I knew that.
Yeah. Number 11, Arizona now after trading back with Tennessee and getting a ton of picks. I think with the loss of Byron Murphy, it kind of makes sense for them to go corner here and try to fill that gap. So I'm having them take Devin Witherspoon, one of the 1A, 1B cornerback prospects of the draft, with him and Gonzalez. Being able to get him at 11, incredible value, and he's kind of best player available at this point at a position of need for them.
Yep.
12, the Houston Texans via
Texans,
Cleveland.
they're going best player available. They're well. This one's interesting because they do need a receiver.
They do.
But they're also not just, You know what? This is where they pair DJ Stroud with his number one guy in college.
They took Will Anderson. They took Will Anderson.
I did it again. I did this the first take. I don't. Okay, just give him Smith and Jigba. I'm over this pick.
I mean, it's the right pick. Best receiver in the class. Granted, Texans kind of need everything right now, so it makes sense for them to take the receiver, although they don't exactly have an answer at the QB position right now. Hopefully that gets resolved next draft or soon for them, for their own sanity, or for the fans' sanity, I should say. Pick 13, the New York Jets.
Oh, wait, 1 second before we go away from the Texans. I was watching the Pat McAfee show today, and he had Parker McCollum on, and he said, whoever goes 1 and 3, they're going to be Hall of Famers. Whoever the Texans draft is going to be a bust.
That's a very Texans thing to do. Or they're going to trade them and get like no value for them. They're going to get like a 3rd round pick, and then in their new home, they're going to just become like 4-time All-Pro.
Hell yeah. Just like Jadeveon Clowney,
yep.
but on a higher scale.
I would also say D-Hop.
Yeah, D-Hop. That's what I was saying. At least they got a sack of footballs for that guy.
Yeah. They got a washed running back and a 2nd round pick for what was considered the best receiver in football. Anyway, the the Jets. I think this is also a very obvious pick. They, with Aaron Rodgers seeming like he's going to be a Jet by the start of the next year, they need to bolster that offensive line. And I think with this pick, they go Broderick Jones, an offensive tackle. I know Skoronski's there, but I think Broderick Jones is more so someone, uh, just a big body that you can just plug in at left tackle and just not have to worry. I imagine you could do something similar with Skoronski, but I think Broderick Jones is him more so.
Yes, sir.
Patriots at 14.
Now this is going to be the most Bill Belichick pick. Since this is early enough in the first round to not be able to justify a third round draft pick, he's going to go with the guy who's played the least amount of snaps in college, probably on the first round draft pick board, and Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah,
I think he was.
That's a very Belichick pick, I feel.
I think he was even like the number 2 or 3 linebacker at the start of the season for Iowa. I think there's another linebacker in Iowa that put up better box scores than him. But the overall potential of this guy is absolutely insane. Bill Belichick will find a way to get the most out of this guy, and then he'll send him off to somewhere else, and he'll get him a second time. So
that's the Bill Belichick way.
Yeah, that's just what's going to happen with him.
Green Bay at 15. They're going to be losing Aaron Rodgers, going to be putting their entire future into the hands of Jordan Love. And totally not our first, since this is obviously our first time doing this draft. I think I have them taking receiver here. Although I do like Romeo Doubs and Watson, I think they still need. You can never have too many receivers, especially in this day and age of the NFL. So, what's the most Green Bay pick at receiver? I'm having them take Quinn Johnston. Yep, Quinn Johnston, the most Green Bay receiver. I don't know why. He just feels like a Green Bay guy.
Well, he's built very similar to a guy they traded last year.
That is true.
He wore number 17. Last name, kind of, yeah. Maybe I'll know.
Yeah. Number 16, the Washington Commies.
So, as far as I know, they're set with Sam Howell, not drafting any quarterback. There's no quarterback that can be justified here. I think, if I remember correctly, they have Logan Thomas at tight end, so they won't go tight end. Their secondary, they could use one safety. I don't know how good their offensive line is, but I think just Brian Branch still being there is probably still going to be the pick. Cam Curl is going to need a running mate this year, and Brian Branch is going to be him. Bad safety on the board. It's going to be a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense. It's a very Washington
They
pick.
could go Skoronski, too.
Yeah. But Pittsburgh at 17. I think this pick comes down between Skoronski and Joey Porter.
Absolutely.
It's a matter of whether they want to help the offensive line or bolster the secondary. I think if they want Kenny Pickett and Najee Harris and NFL Youngboy to be good and just be productive, because let's be honest, their offense was extremely lackluster last year. I think they should probably go with Skoronski, that's who I'm going to have them take. He's a very versatile offensive lineman. He could play anywhere along the line, and they could plug in. I think they really need help anywhere. So whatever they feel is the biggest position in need for them on the offensive line, Skoronski could probably play it for them.
This one's going to pain me a little bit. As a Vikings fan, I never want to cheer for the wrong team. I think the Detroit Lions are gonna take Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. They traded Hawkinson last year. Needed tight end. Best tight end on the board. Dalton. What's his last name?
Kincaid.
Yeah. Scrub compared to Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer got the better name, better hand. I mean, might be a little biased, but he's just all around better. So there you go. That's a good take.
I think similar with the cornerback class, it's kind of 1A, 1B with Kincaid and Meyer. I think so, but you're a Notre Dame fan, so your opinion might be a tad skewed.
I am.
Anyway, pick 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just lost Tom Brady, brought in Baker. They definitely don't need a receiver. I think their safeties are set. Their corners are set. I think they got Jamel Dean and I think Murphy Bunting's still out there. I know. Is JPP still out there?
I mean, I think so, but it's also not going to affect their draft.
That's true. So I have them going edge rusher. I'm gonna have them take Miles Murphy at pick 19. Best
like
edge
40
rusher
years old
available. Yeah. Best edge rusher available at this point. They could go corner. I don't know if they. I'm pretty sure I think they re-signed Jamel Dean in this offseason. And I think Murphy Bunting is still out there, but I think edge rusher might be the second most important position on the football team. So being able to get that good value pick at pick 19 makes sense for them. Pick 20, Seattle Seahawks. Now this draft turned out very differently than how we did last time we did this.
I agree.
So Seattle right here, I think they either go receiver or corner because I don't want to say solved, but they addressed the defensive tackle need with Jalen Carter at 5. Looking at receivers currently, Jordan Addison is there. Pair him, DK, and Lockett. I think that could be a nice trio out there. But at the same token, Joey Porter's still here. We know what type of player his father was. He's Hall of Fame, right? Joey Porter?
I believe so. He played for forever.
Yeah.
He played for like 15 years.
One of the best cornerbacks of all time. His son, there's a reason he's projected first round. Not just off namesake, but one of the better players in the draft. So, but I think Seattle goes Jordan Addison here. I think Lockett isn't getting any older, and when he was not playing last year, the offense, at least passing wise, took a nosedive because everyone was just like triple teaming DK because he's an absolute beast out there. So it makes sense for them to get a receiver that is going to be there long term with DK, who could learn under one of the best hands in the league in Lockett. And plus, it's Seattle. There's the culture, the system there, one of the best in the league. I'd say the best in the league. So, but like I said, you could argue Joey Porter here. Him and Tariq Woolen would be a nasty, nasty, nasty secondary combo compared with Kobe Bryant in the slot, healthy Jamal Adams, Julian Love, who we signed in the offseason, and Quandre Diggs out there. That'd be a mean secondary. But I think wide receiver is probably where they go with their second first-round pick. Although it is probably very likely they will trade back. I don't want them to trade back. I want them to take best player available here. And I have them taking Jordan Addison.
This one's this one's tough for me. I just I don't know how strongly they feel about J.C. Jackson still.
That's
J.C.
true.
Jackson did have quite the down year last year,
Yeah, in typical Patriot
to,
fashion.
to say the least. And they still have Asante Samuel Jr. on the other side. But I think I mean, they don't have a number three corner even with those two. So I think this is where Joey Porter ends up falling. I think I almost said San Diego. I think the LA Chargers are pretty pumped the Seahawks decided to pass up on them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of for Seattle. They kind of had their pick. Uh, Granted, I think they will trade back still. I don't want them to though, but there's a lot of good talent still available at 20, which is kind of crazy considering how the first time we did this went.
A deep draft.
I know. Pick 22, the Baltimore Ravens. Now I know that they just signed Odell to a 1 year, 18 mil deal. They got Rashad Bateman, who's been unhealthy his first to start his career. I don't think that pushes them away from taking a receiver here though. So best receiver available, I believe, is Zay Flowers, who I'm gonna have
And
them.
wait, before you click that button, they are still in the. There is a strong chance that they still get D Hop too.
Is a strong chance now.
Pac-Man Jones today was on the Pat McAfee show saying that, and he's good buddies with DeAndre Hopkins. There's two teams left essentially, the Bills and the Ravens. So I guess this pick in like as you're picking your mock drafts, this pick can go many different ways depending on what happens up until the draft.
All right, I'm gonna go under the pretense that they don't get D Hop though for this pick, and I'm gonna have them take Zay Flowers. If they do to end up getting D Hop though before the draft starts, or even if the draft starts and they end up getting D Hop, I would probably have them taking dang. Marlon Humphrey's still out there, right?
Yeah,
I don't know who their second cornerback is. It might be Marcus Peters still. I think he might be gone though. So if they don't take a corner,
isn't Mark
hmm?
isn't Marcus Peters with the Chiefs?
He was to start his career.
You're right.
He got traded to the Chiefs, or no, got traded to the Rams, and then I think he got traded to the Ravens. I don't know if there was a fourth team in his career, but
He's not on the depth chart.
okay. So I'd probably have them taking like Cam Smith if they do end up getting D Hop and not having to give up that first round pick, which they probably won't have to. All right, Minnesota 23.
Now, before I make this pick, I don't think the Vikings will have this pick when this pick rolls around. There is way too many rumors going around Minnesota right now to really say what they're going to end up doing in this draft. I mean, they're saying Dalvin Cook could be draft day trade, and Zadarius Smith could end up being a draft day trade. Both want out of Zadarius Smith requested a trade. Dalvin Cook contract issues not being resolved. Daniil Hunter is not showing up for the OTAs. Wants more money, I think, is what I read. They're currently in talks or having some discussions of Trey Lance. So there's a lot of stuff happening in Minnesota right now. But if they have this pick at 23, they're going edge. They're taking Isaiah Foskey, best edge rusher available. I just don't see Daniil Hunter being here too much longer with all the issues that he's had in the offseason contract-wise for the last few years. And even if Daniil Hunter is still here for the next couple of years, we still need another very elite edge rusher, and I think Isaiah Foskey is just him.
Yeah. The towards at this point in the draft, the edge rush class kind of dips in terms of value, but I think Foskey, Nolan Smith,
I
and
think Foskey's the last one that really justifies a first round grade.
I think Nolan Smith is up there for first round though. Like he might be the like the on the edge or like late first, early second type of player, you know.
Yeah.
That being said, Jacksonville 24. Now they don't need a receiver because they got Calvin Ridley coming back. They got Christian Kirk who proved he could be him. They don't need running back because they got ETN.
Don't disrespect Marvin Jones Jr.
Oh yeah, I can't forget Marvin Jones Jr. saved me a few times in fantasy last year. Yeah. But they don't need edge because they have Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. They could go corner here, pair someone alongside Tyson Campbell. Can't think of their other corner, but I think they want to keep Trevor Lawrence upright, so I'm gonna have them take Darnell Wright. Yeah, Darnell Wright.
I think isn't there their corner? Isn't there their corner Shaq Griffin?
No, they released him.
Okay.
It was Shaq, but they got released.
That man got paid for that.
I mean, he was good in Jacksonville to begin his stint there, but he was injured most of last year, and
It doesn't change the fact he still got paid.
Yeah, yeah. I would say it was worth it for when they initially made it or did it. So the New York Football Giants at pick 25.
I'm gonna pull up their depth chart quick because I'm not even trying to pretend like I know anything about the Giants depth chart right now.
That's valid because I'm doing the same thing right now, just trying to get an idea of what they would do. And looking at their depth chart, I could see.
No, they're not going quarterback. They're not going running back. Their defensive line is stacked. Secondary is serviceable. I think this one here you have to go best receiver available. Can you go to the
Josh Downs, Jalen Hyatt?
Now this is tough. I don't see any of these guys really, coming into the first round here. Can you hit the offensive guard button?
Cyrus Torrance. It's probably the best. He is the best offensive guard available right now.
I think. This one's tough because they really do need receivers.
They do.
I mean, what cornerbacks are left?
Cam Smith, Keely Ringo, Deontay Banks. So good corners.
You know what? I think they go for their receiver second round. I think they take Cam Smith. This is where Cam Smith goes.
Good pick.
Looking at their corners, they got Adoree Jackson and they have Cordell Flott.
If you look behind Cordell, that guy, there's Amani Ojulwali, who they brought in from the Lions, who had a down year last year, but he was still pretty good.
Yep, but in this league, when like for example, when you're gonna play the Chiefs, they're gonna put you in 4 or 5 receiver sets. You need at minimum 3 cornerbacks.
Minimum.
Even if this Oruwariye guy is, a stud this year, still need a number 3 guy. I think they take Cam Smith.
Yeah, makes sense. Pick 26. How about them Dallas Cowboys?
I think we should just take their pick away.
I wish we could. I wish we could just kind of forfeit their pick like we did with the Dolphins, but I think that they might have the most one of the most high-powered offenses next to the Chiefs. But they with the loss of Dalton Schultz this offseason, I think it makes sense for them to get another Dalton and Dalton Kincaid and replace him. He's gonna come in, probably be slotted immediately into tight end one, and they got Dalton Schultz involved a lot last year, so I imagine we should probably see similar numbers to Schultz or to what Schultz had last year, and pairing him up with CD, Pollard. I think Gallup's still out there. Could be nice for them having that many weapons to help Dakota out there.
Absolutely.
Pick 27, the Buffalo Bills.
Now this pick is going to be a little wild compared to some of the others. If you look at they did just sign Damian Harris, but I don't think that's the long-term solution for them. Their secondary is good, so they don't need Kelly Ringo. They don't need Deontay Banks. Their defensive line's solid. I think they're going to take Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they could take Jahmyr Gibbs and make this guy the running back of the future for them. They haven't had a running back that, is, I'm not going to say dangerous, but like, they haven't had a running back that can get into the open field and would just run away from you in quite some time.
Says probably Shady, right?
Probably.
But even then, Shady was older.
Yeah, they got older Shady. Singletary doesn't gonna break one for 80 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs is just by far and away the second most talented running back in this draft. I mean, out of all the running backs, there's levels to this. Bijan's 1. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is 2, and then there's everybody else. So.
Yeah. It makes sense because you look at that Buffalo team, running back is like the weakest position, and it has been for years. Their best running back has been Josh Allen since he's become the star he is. And for their own sake, they don't want Josh Allen running as much as he does because he's a physical-ass runner, and he will get hurt at some point.
And no hate on James Cook, but, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is just that dude. And James Cook didn't. I mean, he had good runs, but he didn't just wow anybody last year.
That's fair. Although he wasn't exactly, because he was always splitting carries with Singletary, Moss, and when they traded Moss, it was Hines. It was like a 3-player backfield. So
there's no Buffalo running back that's gotten a fair shake in the last 3 seasons.
That's fair.
It's always been running back by committee.
Yeah.
With 5 running backs.
5 mid running backs, yeah.
Yeah.
Pick 28, the Cincinnati Bengals. Trying to think who they have on their defense. Is Eli Apple still starting for them? Because if so, that makes this pick so much easier. I'm checking real quick. Cam Taylor-Britt and Chidobe Awuzie. That's not a bad cornerback duo. They got Daxton Hill coming back next year. Nick Scott. I don't think there's any safeties worth taking in the first round here. Their defense looks fine. Offense, they're fine as well. Although I think Jonah Williams requested a trade, I believe. So
who?
Jonah Williams, I believe, requested a trade, so they might be looking to move off of him. Although they got La'el Collins, who is hurt, I guess.
I'm ignoring the cues.
Yeah. I'm looking at offensive line here. Do they have?
I mean,
are these reports?
If this was me picking, I'm going off the philosophy of you need 3 cornerbacks.
Yeah,
you need 3 cornerbacks.
That's valid.
To compete in this NFL.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have them take Deontay Banks, who I think is better than Kelee Ringo. Like you said, you need 3 good corners, and similar to offense, you can never have too many wide receivers, and you can never have too many corners.
And they've already got all the wide receivers over there.
They don't need any more fucking receivers, so they're gonna take the best corner available and take Deontay Banks. Pick 29. The Saints via Denver, via San Francisco. No. Saints via Denver, via Miami, via San Francisco. So, yeah, this pick gets passed around quite a lot.
I'm not gonna make the joke.
I was hoping you would do something with the joke. So,
Do it. Is Nolan Smith? Is he a in the dirt edge rusher, or is he a linebacker rusher? Third name.
Smith has a great first step, getting slow downhill into blockers. I think he's more of he's a pass rusher.
Yeah, that sounds like in the dirt type.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, it seems like in the dirt pass rusher.
Yeah. And I'm gonna. Can you click on Will McDonald for me? You're right on him. Yeah. No, I can't understand.
This is why I appreciated PFF. They had
Yeah.
They had like good scouting reports on them and like easy to understand. But I do like having the flexibility to trade if we so choose.
See, everything I'm finding with Will McDonald, he's hand in the dirt type player too. The Saints really do just need a good linebacker. They have Demario Davis and Pete Warner there, but could use a third.
I mean, I think in this day and age, you really only need 2 good linebackers.
Fair enough. Their cornerback group is just horrible, though. Marshawn Lattimore had a down year. Paulson Adebo was just atrocious last year. I mean, I think they gave up the most yards out of any other team in the league secondary wise. So they're gonna go best player available here as well, and they're gonna take Kelly Ringo out of Georgia.
It makes sense. Like you said, best corner available at that point.
I don't know
And
why it took me so long.
yeah. The Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I think this is where they go because they went Bijan Robinson at 10. Honestly, they could probably get Bijan Robinson around this area if they really wanted to, but besides the point. I think they addressed defensive line here. Now I know they did it last year with Jordan Davis to kind of be the Fletcher Cox replacement when Fletcher Cox ends up retiring. Similarly so, I'm going to have them take Nolan Smith here to kind of be the Brandon Graham replacement when he leaves. I know they have Josh Sweat out there. They have Hassan Reddick, who's going to be able to draw a lot of the attention away from Nolan Smith so he can get good one-on-one battles. So I think Nolan Smith makes sense for them here. Philadelphia is been pretty good at drafting, so I think this makes sense for them to take a kind of a, I want to say project defensive or edge rusher, but someone that doesn't have to contribute right away. Someone that could kind of learn from his peers and Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick and from Fletcher Cox, kind of just take in all this information to help because his combine was insane. He has all the potential in the world to be great. And I think learning from his teammates is going to do him very well, especially in Philadelphia.
The Chiefs is pretty straightforward. They're stacked at every position except for one. With the loss of with the loss of Juju Smith-Schuster, they don't have any receivers left that could, I'm not gonna say be sufficient as a wide receiver one, but I think the receivers they got have kind of maxed out of their potential. I think Josh Downs and Jalen Hyatt are substantially better receivers than the rest that are left. I could also see, a team that's got like a mid-second trading into this pick or something like that to get a player that they like. I think we still have Brian Breesy still on the board.
I could see one of the teams like early second. I think a team like Seattle could trade up to this spot and take a Hendon Hooker, honestly, just to potentially get that 5th-year option on him.
Well, if I'm gonna keep it 100% honest with you, I think Hendon Hooker goes to the Vikings.
You think Minnesota would trade back into the first for Hooker?
I mean, they did it for Teddy Bridgewater
That is true.
10 years ago.
Keep in mind, we can do trades here, so if you don't think KC's going to take anyone.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to trade Casey back with the Vikings.
KC, Minnesota, pick 31.
Vikings don't have a whole lot to offer here.
I'm just gonna this doesn't make sense or make any.
Wait, hold up. I'm just gonna put this out there. They're gonna give up their 119 pick and Dalvin Cook.
That's it.
For 31. Well,
No, it got accepted. I don't think they would trade Dalvin. I don't think Casey would want Dalvin Cook since they have Pacheco and McKinnon out there still, though.
I mean, Dalvin Cook's an instant upgrade for both of them.
I guess, but at that money, when you could have 2 good running backs on significantly smaller deals.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that Jerick McKinnon lost his job to Dalvin Cook.
That's fair. All right, so
and this one's just going to be Hendon Hooker.
All right.
Everything points. I mean, it's come out that the Vikings have done extensive research on Hendon Hooker. The Vikings have put the most amount of work into Hendon Hooker. Kirk Cousins went to the front office and said, "Hey, I want an extension and try to lower his cap hit for this year," and they basically told him to fuck off. So this is Kirk's last year. Hendon Hooker tore his ACL last year, so he's not going to play this year regardless. Let Kirk Cousins play out his contract. Let Hendon Hooker learn from Kirk Cousins, and then next year have him step in. That way we have all that room for that JJ extension, baby.
Yep. Y'all gonna need all the money in the world to get that done.
They're trying to do it now, but I think Kirk Cousins' contract's making it a little bit difficult.
Typical Kirk Cousins. So let's. I can't check. Oh no. Oh well. I was gonna go like team by team, but yeah, this is our official first round mock draft for the draft next week. We might do a second one before the draft, our final mock draft predictions. But yeah,
After all these crazy rumors come out for the next week.
Yeah, we are gonna wait till the last second until kind of like the smoke starts to clear, till the dust starts to settle, because even on draft night things get wild if Houston ends up taking not a QB.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a record Wednesday, upload Wednesday night type.
Yeah, but we will see what the hell happens. in this upcoming draft next week. And that's it for the podcast this week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, be sure to follow us on our socials down here. Follow our personal socials up here. Cody's pointing at his. And we will see you all next time when we either talk about the draft or predict the draft one final time. See ya.